Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We've got a bunch of people still pouring into the chat. Hello to all of you. Everyone's shouting out their locations. That's great to see. Thanks so much for joining. So this is the Bot Games Weekly Wrap-Up Week 3. Laura, are you there?
I'm here. Hello, everyone.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Laura,
Thanks,
how
everyone,
did
for
you enjoy
joining.
this week? How was this week for you?
This week was amazing. I see everyone on LinkedIn sharing, and you guys are for each week. You guys share the way you build your bots in a different way. Like we see different kinds of screenshots and diagram flows and video recording. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. So let's take a look at some of our slides for this week. We'll jump into this. You know that I don't like it to be like straight PowerPoint or anything. So we'll keep this lively and fun.
Yes.
So this week, we're going to be talking about some challenge page tricks, tips, and lessons learned. I think there was a lot of lessons learned this week that were really cool to see. So I'm excited to talk about that. Secondly, we'll talk about bot store packages. That was a huge theme that came up this week. Lots of people solving these challenges with bot store packages. So we'll talk about some of those. We'll also talk about some of the non-challenge page content. And Lara is going to talk to us specifically about one of those, a tutorial that went live today. We'll get into our shout outs where we'll recognize some people and throw out some swag for those who are participating in the bot games this week. And then we'll do a quick week 4 preview and highlight some of the things that are coming for our last and final week of bot games. Sound good?
Yes.
Awesome. So first off, this week's theme was human resources. And so we were doing an employee data migration. And if you didn't get a chance to try this one out, basically you're grabbing data from a Windows thick client app and you're grabbing some data from an API. You're putting those two together and filling out this web form. And every time you try the exercise, it gives you 10 fresh employee IDs that are kind of randomized. And you fill that out and then you see how fast you can go. What was really interesting this week, I would say, is that we finally got some people to slow down, right? Week 1 and 2 were primarily like just web scraping and people are going insanely fast, like faster than pages can load.
Yeah, I keep picturing you guys developing and being like, this needs to go super fast and like just typing super fast in the keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. People were just tearing through those first two. So we forced everyone to slow down this week by having this Windows legacy thick client app. And the reason we did that is because this is real life bot development, right? When you're working for a client or you're supporting bots for your organization, you're going to have some of these wonky apps that are like, hey, some guy developed this like 30 years ago and we don't have any documentation and we don't know how it works, but we got to keep using it. So that was to simulate this kind of situation where we've got some data in this legacy app, we've got some data in this modern, kind of API approach, and we need to get all of it into this new platform. So as far as tips, parsing JSON from the REST response is much easier when you can use the JSON object manager or JSON parser packages from BotStore. So definitely I would encourage everyone to use those. The other thing that we talked about last week is that if you're using Community Edition, you can now download BotStore packages locally. You would download them as a zip file, and you can upload them into Community Edition. So you can still use these crazy fast packages just like everyone else. You would just download them as a zip. You would go to the Automations tab in your Community Edition environment. And then in the top right corner, there's a little button that says Import Bots. You just click that button, select your zip file, and upload it, and that package will be available for you to use. So definitely check that out. And Laura actually will talk a little bit more about that process here in a little bit.
Yes. By the way, I love the Busy Bees name.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like something that would kind of be like deal with this business. And specifically, I wanted to work some color in there, right? Because all the other challenge pages have a different color. So we had to have one that was kind of bright and colorful. So it was Busy Bees Resource Management this week. As far as the tricks, some people noted on social media that when you got the response from the REST API, that the values were not returned in the same order every single time. And absolutely that's true. With Spring Boot, when you develop a RESTful application, unless you specify, it will sometimes randomize those order of values. And so I left it like that on purpose because the order really doesn't matter, right? If you're working with a JSON object manager or you're parsing the JSON, it really doesn't matter the order that those values are returned, because really you're looking for that key value relationship that exists within the JSON object. So,
yes,
left it like that on purpose. If you were using text extraction and you were just using like the string actions to do like a before and after, that might have tripped you up. But as long as you're doing the JSON object manager or JSON parser package, or you're doing it in JavaScript, that would still work for you regardless of the order kind of being screwed around.
Yeah, that's right. And I hope all of you had the chance to watch Arjun's video on the JSON object and how to parse, because we gave you guys a hint that would be useful. So I hope all you guys had the chance to watch that video.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So people are commenting in here that they used to work with me when I was doing Captiva stuff. That's awesome. Finally, for the lessons learned, tons of ways to solve these different problems. So it's interesting to see all the creative approaches. I saw some people doing this up to like 5 or 6 different times. Yes. It's great to see all the different creative approaches. It's also great to see that, like, hey, I know you guys are all working like a full day, and then you still come back and find time to kind of test yourself on these challenges. So that kind of energy and that kind of excitement for these challenges is really interesting. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this, and then also share your results. Like, that's how you get better. That's how the developer community gets better, by sharing those results, sharing the things you're learning, sharing your different approaches. So well done to everyone for doing that. And I really appreciate that kind of energy.
That's awesome. Something cool that I saw was some people posted their code, and then someone commented, "Oh, that's awesome. My code looks almost exactly like yours." So yeah, amongst all these different ways, we are still seeing people that are thinking like in the kind of the same guidelines. So that's very interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Now we have tons of ways to doing these challenges as they get more and more complex.
Absolutely. I would say I learned something this week too. Like, I didn't know that you could click on an entire web form, not web form, but Windows Thick Client form, and get all the child objects. I didn't actually figure that out until someone else posted it. So it was really interesting to see that. Yeah. Now, one thing I want to touch on is that people used a lot of custom packages for this one, right? They used the web automation package. They used the JSON object manager. I think those are probably the primary 2 that people were using. It's awesome to see so many of you embracing bot store packages for this challenge. The cool thing is you can use these same packages for your real bots that you're doing every day for work, right? And I would also want to shout out the developers responsible for those 2 very popular packages, JP Morgenthau from Automation Anywhere, and then also Stefan Karsten from Automation Anywhere. They developed those 2 packages that are quite popular in bot store. So shout out to them. But the reason I bring that up is that the ability to create and use custom packages in Automation 360 is my favorite feature. Don't tell Mahir, hopefully he's not watching this, but I love that even more than Cloud. Like, Cloud is awesome, and I really like Cloud is a game changer. Oh,
that's
for sure.
A bold statement.
But custom packages are my, like, and it's probably because of my perspective, right? I just geek out on the custom packages. The ability to create packages that are easy for others to use, right? JP and Stefan created those, and everyone was able to use them this week, right? They're relatively simple to use. I don't have to know how everything in Selenium works. I don't have to know how to parse JSON in a really advanced way. All I have to know is how to use the actions within that package. And what I would say is the package SDK makes building those packages not that difficult, right? They're actually pretty fun to build. And so I bring that up because I encourage everyone who's been using and consuming packages this week to consider building some of your own. You can build them for your own organization. You can build them and share them on Bot Store with others. But definitely consider building out those custom packages. We've got some tutorials on that on the developer portal. So if you head to developer.automationanywhere.com, we do have some package tutorials there. We can do more of those if that's something that the developer community is interested in. But it's a great way to obfuscate some of that really complex logic and really enable other developers within your organization to do some advanced operations without necessarily having to understand all of the underlying code.
Yes. I mean, for me, this is the beauty of RPA and Automation Anywhere, because if you are just getting started with coding and RPA, you can drag and drop and you can get started without actually having to know the super detailing and like how to actually talk to the computer. And but if you also have this knowledge, if you know how to code and build like all of these things from scratch, you can also put your skills to use using Automation Anywhere. So to me, that's really appealing that both super tech savvy people can build, as you said, store packages, load store packages. And also, if you are just getting started, don't worry, because you can build your bot in like 5 minutes. So that's like you can get started with either no knowledge of coding, and if you also are super high tech, a super high tech person, let's say, you can also build packages and help others. That's awesome for me.
Absolutely. And the other thing I would say about the custom packages is that they can be versioned. And I think that that's one of the, that's why I like them so much, right? The custom packages, being able to build stuff custom into the platform is awesome. But the versioning is, I think, what really sets it apart. And that's true for the Automation Anywhere built packages. That's also true for the custom built packages. So if I create a bot and it's built on, you know, Micah's package version 1.0, that bot's still going to work fine when I release Micah's package version 1.1.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can choose to update those bots individually, and they're totally separated. So when my bot runner actually executes, it's going to use the specific version of that package that the bot was developed with. And so that way I don't have to worry like what happens when an upgrade occurs.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I was laughing because I just saw Mihir's comment. He heard what you said, Micah.
I know. So we gotta move on.
Yeah, let's go.
But like I said, and like we all heard, cloud is number one, packages number two, right?
Yeah, I mean, cloud is what enables us to do all of this. So really.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up this week that was our non-challenge page content was an awesome tutorial from Azar. And Azar Hussein is an A-lister, and he built a great tutorial on integrating Siri with Automation Anywhere. And if you haven't checked out this video, I would encourage you to do it. Even if you don't really care to do this, it's entertaining to watch the video itself. Azar shows the process of building a Siri shortcut with integrating with Automation 360. And so it does require that you have a bot runner and also have an Apple device running iOS 12 or Mac OS 10.15 or later. But it's a really cool way to think about how we can integrate RPA bots with other stuff that we're doing, right? These intelligent assistants like Siri, and I don't want to say the other one because it's probably going to go off in this room, but you have those and you can call them and you can figure out how you can integrate with them to run your bots or do other stuff. And so it's a really cool idea. And he recorded the whole thing from his iPad, which I thought was interesting as well, right? Like I can't think of doing any kind of development without a laptop, but it was really interesting to see him basically create this entire shortcut without having to use a mouse and keyboard at all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. I'm going to let you talk about this one.
Okay, so for this one, we have the PDF utilities package. So we have a video up, and I'm teaching you guys how you can read values from PDFs, values from form fields, how you can set values in form fields, and also merge PDFs together. And that's very useful because sometimes you have all these forms and you don't want to manually go through all of those, because we already know that doing repetitive stuff manually is not, we shouldn't be doing that. Let's keep the repetitive stuff to bots and let humans do human work. So the PDF utilities package allows you to read through all these form fields and store those values inside a CSV or Excel file, or even inputting that in another system. So if you have a use case that's close to this, please check this video, as you can download the PDF utilities package on, as we saw, either your control room that is on an enterprise environment or community edition. So feel free to download this package and try it out. Go through the tutorial. You can download the same file that I was using on the video. And I'm just not sure, what do you call a gymnast made of Spanish clay? That's not
I
mine,
know.
guys.
We didn't talk about this slide before I put this up.
Yeah.
Well, take a guess. What do you think that is?
Yeah. So what do you call a gymnast made of Spanish clay? Okay, so give me 10 seconds.
Anyone in the chat know? Let me see if anyone in the chat knows this one.
I'm peeking the chat to see if someone is going to give me an answer, because I don't have one. I don't know.
Dead silence.
Nothing.
This is it's an Adobe Acrobat, right? Like PDF joke.
Oh my God! How did I not get
it? It is insanely hard to come up with any kind of joke that has to do with PDF. So Adobe is a building style where you build with Spanish clay bricks. Yeah, that's not going to go over very well, but you know, it's worth it. That was a gold medal effort. All right, so the shout outs. Shout outs. Tag people who are getting shout outs this week. These people are all getting swag. First off is our explorers, and I would classify this group of individuals as people who were trying some of the craziest ways to solve these different challenges. Specifically this week, these individuals were all doing the challenge in some of the crazy ways that I didn't even consider. I saw a lot of stuff where people were using the simulate keystrokes action to like fill out that web form and then also tab through all the fields and copy them really quick and then paste them someplace else or turn them to variables. So very creative thinking. It was awesome to see people who were just taking a chance on doing some of the craziest ways to solve these challenges. So yeah, that's the explorers category. So shout out to all of those individuals. I also want to do a special shout out for the live solvers. We had a group of 5 individuals who basically did a video of them all joining together, seeing the challenge for the first time, talking through some of their ideas on how to solve it. And then they all went through and shared their times that they got at the very end side by side, which is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're doing it with a couple of your friends or coworkers and like, hey, my time was like twice as fast as this other guy, but it was slower than this other one. So, you know, it's definitely a vulnerable position when you're gonna do it with your friends and kind of go head to head with all of them. But shout out to the live solvers who shared that video. And if you haven't checked it out, awesome. Go watch it, and that's worth a view. And then finally, I want to shout out a single person category, which is the encourager category. Dinuji, he has been commenting on pretty much as many of your posts as I have. He's been great about going through, encouraging people, telling them great job for completing their challenge, sharing his own results. So shout out to Dinuji. Thank you so much for sharing those results and encouraging the developer community. That's exactly what we want to see, and that was awesome to see that you've been so encouraging with other developers.
Yes, that kind of energy is awesome. I'm loving. Yeah, I'm loving this.
Absolutely. And then let's also do a shout out for our certifications.
Certification shout outs, guys. So as per last week, we have more people getting their advanced certifications and also their master's certifications. So for advanced, we have Ashish from with Automation Anywhere, Dipendra, we have Manikanth from Hackstream, we have Shantanu from OMFY's Technologies, Pranav from Tangentia. We are seeing a lot of you from Tangentia completing the challenge, so congrats. Nora from Rab National Bank, Oscar from Race Holdings, Guru Prashant from Aspire Systems, and Alexander from Rakuten. So those are the advanced RPA professionals. Big shout out to all of you, congrats. And also the master certification that we got this week. We have Adita from ESSPL. We have Abhishek from Godrej Infotech. And Asif from Atos Intel. Asif, I saw you on the chat, so congrats. And to all of you that are studying and doing your courses and doing the training paths on Automation Anywhere University, keep studying, keep engaged and motivated, because you are going to get your certifications too in no time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Asif just got his like this morning. So
yeah, that's it was super recent, right?
Yeah. There, he's in the chat.
Just in time. Yeah, that's you.
Absolutely. And I would echo what Laura's saying. I mean, behind each of these names, it's easy to shout them out here, but they've put a lot of time into this. They've put a lot of work, especially if you did the masters. You're having to build a couple bots for that. So it's awesome that we get to recognize those individuals as a part of this event. And congrats to all of them for completing their certifications, and hopefully they're able to start working on some challenges and working on some bots so that they can start adding massive value to their organizations as well. All right, week 4 preview. So week 4 is going to be our 4th and final week of Bot Wars. It's going to release on 8/24, which is Monday. And I think that's right. Yeah. Is it the 23rd?
23rd. Yeah, Monday, 23rd.
Yeah, so that's a wrong date. It's the 23rd, but it's an accounts payable theme this week. So you'll definitely want to check that out. This is a little bit more difficult on the website this time. So I know that people have been going crazy fast on a lot of our web automation. This one does have a little bit more of a challenge to it. So hopefully that will make you pause and think a bit. But just like all the other challenges, you can do this one on Community Edition. You can still come up with the insanely fast times of Community Edition as well. So you're not at a disadvantage if you're using Community Edition. For our community article, we've got an IQBot Best Practices article that's going to be coming out from Prasad Krishna. So great article there on some of the best practices that you want to pay attention to as you start to implement IQBot, especially as you start to move some of that logic into production. We're going to have our weekly Wednesday live help on A-People again. So we've been doing that every week. If you have questions on the bot games or bot wars, or if you're doing the hackathon and you have questions with that, we'll be live both in an India time zone and US time zone, so we can help you out. We also have a week 4 challenge solution tutorial coming up. So we'll show you one way that you could build this solution for the accounts payable theme. And then we'll be back with another bot store spotlight, which is going to be on the file conversion package next week, and another live stream with myself and Lara. And that will be our last one for the month of RPA August, or RP August.
So don't miss that. Right now, if you have any questions, and please make sure to join us, as this is going the last week. Next week is going to be the last live stream for this event. And also, I see someone asked about IQBot in the chat. Sorry, I can't find your comment again. But please check this community article and let us know what you think.
Yeah, for sure. If you have questions on IQBot, or if you have questions in general, you can ask them here. Again, appreciate everyone who joined. Laura, do we have another chat on comments, or are we good here?
I think we have another slide on
comments. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I want to point like just the middle one that stood out for me as Gito, Matthew. They made this amazing diagram with the approach and the results. And that's like a very visual element. I was scrolling down on my LinkedIn, and that like stood out for me. And that was awesome because I haven't seen this anywhere else. We also see more people that are trying the challenge the manual way and then creating the bot and comparing the results. That is super cool because you can see the actual value from having a bot to do that work for you instead of a human doing that. And not also just making sure that the bot runs faster than its last execution. No, if you try that for yourself, start the challenge and do all these steps manually and then compare it to your bot. You're going to be amazed, trust me.
Yeah, and so that was from Pradnya. And
yes,
obviously, like, so if you look at that post, it took her like 13 minutes to do it manually, which is not an insult to her. It would have taken me a lot longer. And she still had like a 99.09% accuracy, which means she only missed a single field in doing that entire thing manually. That's impressive. But if you think about the amount of effort that took her to do for 13 minutes, right? She's paying really close attention. She's working hard. Yes. We compare that to a bot that did it in 21 seconds. That's the whole reason that we're all doing this stuff in the first place, right? We're trying to take those tasks that are error prone, those tasks that take a lot of time, those tasks that are really menial and mundane work that are just the same thing over and over. And we're trying to automate them so that someone doesn't have to do this stuff manually, and that the keystrokes that may have been missed here don't end up costing an organization a lot of money down the line because, oh, we added an extra 0 to that deposit, or, you know, we want to try to improve not only taking up time, but also the accuracy of data that makes its way into subsequent systems.
Yes, Pradnya, thank you for sharing that. That was awesome to see.
Okay, cool. Well, this wraps up our week 3 live stream.
I think that's it.
Yeah, thanks so much for everyone who joined. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for joining us in the chat. It was great to see so much participation this week. Please stay active. We're going to be doing this for one more week. We'll be next week for our accounts payable theme. So keep sharing your solutions. Keep sharing the way that you're solving these different problems. We're going to be hitting it hard with the swag next week. So lots of swag give outs for our last week. I promise you, we're gonna at least double what we're doing right now. So thanks to everyone who was able to join. Awesome. And we will see you all next week.
Yeah, again, RPA bot games, hashtag bot games, hashtag RP August. And we are looking on LinkedIn to see our posts, okay? Thank you, everyone.